additional storms on the way. And if you thought that system is strong, wait until you see the potential for Friday's system. We got all that coming up. And did I mention another severe weather risk next Tuesday? It's an active pattern. We got it all for you coming up. First, Big Trail Nation takes a dunk at it.
You're watching KNWA News at 10 with Doug Warner, Ali Lynch,
Rainfall report
Chief
was south of
Meteorologist
Bella
Dan
Vista.
Scoff.
reported, Bentonville, Centerton. You can see a lot of melting took place with this cell. And this is a storm that moved through the north side of Benton County. Here's some other pictures. This is South Bella Vista, where we had, looks like nickels, possibly pennies, dimes, maybe even a few quarters mixed in. There was a report of some golf ball size hail. I'll show you that here shortly. Here's another picture from Jordan Vaughn, and some of these are duplicates because the system was a little slow. But how about this? 9:26 on this March 4th, and severe weather season is underway, folks, and it's not even the end of it, as we will continue to see more thunderstorm activity, not only tonight, but that's starting to wind down. But as we get into the rest of the week, Friday, a big-time significant storm system could be on the way. We were watching this earlier, our PG Telco WeatherBug Network camera. Definitely a strong storm coming through, a lot of lightning. We're continuing to monitor all of our WeatherBug Network cameras, and definitely some a little bit of wind along with some hail that fell across Benton County, and also a little bit of storm activity in Washington County as well. Here's a look at Heil Heating Cooling Mega Doppler. Those hail reports coming in across the north side of Bentonville, as well as another cell that moved through. I'll show you that hail track in just a bit. But this is the wide view. And notice we have dropped all the severe thunderstorm warnings. So that's good. Severe thunderstorm watch goes until 11 o'clock tonight. But here's a look at maybe a little bit of that hail that popped up. And it's not a maybe, it's a definite. But there you see the severe thunderstorm warnings, including one that was reported for southeastern Berry County. We were watching that one cell as it did have a little bit of persistent weak rotation. And now you can see that hail core and those hail tracks moving from southwest to northeast over parts of Benton County. Let's zoom in again and show you the more thunderstorm activity that moved through areas of, looks like Benton and Washington County. Even had a little bit of a weak rotation south of Westville as that line came through. So there was a lot of shear, but there were just a few missing ingredients. One thing that was nice is that we stayed pretty cool. Temperatures were in the 50s and 60s, and that really kept that low-level instability down. But on Friday, that might be a different story. Here's a look at live Doppler radar in the River Valley. Storms are beginning to wind down and decrease in intensity, but we're still watching a few cells that will be moving towards West Hartford. Well, we got the rain, folks, and this is the almanac that was updated at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. This is from some of the afternoon showers and storms. 1.18. Now, you look at Fort Smith, it shows 0, but that's not the case because that was released basically as we went into about the 4:30 time frame. Here's a Fort Smith Regional Airport. Had some lightning off of the distance from our Kisser FM WeatherBug Network camera. Look at these temperatures. 66 in Fayetteville, 70 in Boonville, and then mid-50s across southwest Missouri. So that stationary front is slowly marching eastward. There's another severe thunderstorm warning just to the northeast of us, and this watch is going to expire here within about 38 minutes. So the severe weather risk will be winding down. Here's a look at the future track showing additional showers of storms, so some rumbles of thunder. We will be doing a live stream after this. In fact, we're doing that right now, but I'll be joining the live stream after this newscast. And we're going to talk more about that severe weather risk for Friday, which I'll show you in just a bit. So there's the rain chances dropping off. And tomorrow afternoon, Doug, I know you're wondering about your daughter's soccer game. Looks like it's going to be pretty nice. Of course, the field will be a little soggy, but those rain chances do drop off during the second half of the day on Thursday, but they ramp back up as the next big storm system, as you can see on Friday, will be moving in. 3 systems, one that just moved in now, the next one for Friday, the next one comes in on Tuesday of next week. So much uncertainty with these systems, but one thing is certain, there will be ingredients in place for severe weather. Now, this is a level 3 out of 5 severe weather risk. Doug's looking at the radar and watching. Okay. Good news is just south of our area where it's a little warmer. Tornado warning was reported for McCurtain County, and that is basically just south of LaFleur and moving towards Pope. That's Little Rock's National Weather Service coverage area, and thankfully we're dodging a bullet on that, and McCurtain County is Shreveport's. But you'll notice here, thunderstorms on Friday evening and into Saturday morning, a lot of shower and storm activity, and we'll be watching not only supercells potentially for Friday night, but also Saturday morning into the late morning, we're watching thunderstorms that could be moving in, and they could be significant. We'll talk more about this on the live, but it's a conditional intensity group number 1, which means significant supercells possible Friday evening. And then look at this, a day 7 outlook, and that's a very large day 7 outlook. You don't typically see, first of all, day 7s at all, but there's a lot of uncertainty in terms of the timing and location. But Doug, big-time storms, and I know you're watching that area. So Saturday, quiet weather after an alert day on Friday. We do have storms, though, a little bit in the morning, like we mentioned, and it could be really heavy in the early morning. Sunday will be a great day, a brief quiet period. Next Tuesday, there's that severe weather risk starting to ramp up and some severe storm potential. So stay tuned. We've got more KNWA news at 10 after the break. I'll continue to monitor these storms. Let me know today what's coming up. All right, everyone. Woo-wee! So send Davion and Leslie home, and all heck breaks loose. It really wasn't absolutely that bad, but definitely some hail. And I know some of you got some hail. I know some of you have questions. Now, I had a nice little thing planned for Facebook and the live stream, and I was going to go through basically all of the models. I still will. I just don't have it preloaded. So everything is a mess because there was so much going on. A new severe thunderstorm warning coming out for Berry and McDonald County. So the storms have been cranking up a little bit. So this is something that was issued. You got 21 minutes until the severe thunderstorm warning expires. That's why that severe weather index, this is mainly for Southwest Missouri, has exceeded the threshold in terms of the weather conditions score. So lost power in Gentry. I know a lot of you have questions. I'm kind of going through some of the comments here, and there's a lot of them. I was doing the newscast, and I can't do streaming.
New severe thunderstorm warning.
See, that's one thing that, these streamers have an advantage over me, big time. I mean, I'm not even going to compare. All I'm going to say is that when you do newscast and TV, doing that and streaming at the same time, it is a monkey's hat trick, and it is difficult. So let's get to it without any further ado. Do you see me? You should see me on here, Chad. You're saying, is Dan coming on? It's 10:39 and I'm on. So let me know if you're seeing me right now. If you're not, we got a problem. Because I'm like literally in a inception then, because I'm seeing myself. Okay, good. I was going to say, Chad, I'm on. Okay, good. I was like, wait a minute. 10:39, I'm coming on. I've been talking for the last 2.5, 3 minutes. All right. Yeah, you don't need a continent anymore. Cool. Glad you see me. Thank you so much. Let's get to Mega Doppler because we do have a tornado warning. Does not include our weather coverage area. Okay, heads up. Just letting you know that. However, there is a warning that's just to the south. We'll take a look at this. This is, again, Heil Heating Cooling Mega Doppler. We'll look at essentially a split screen. And we're going to go ahead and look at normalized rotation with that second monitor. So this is basically the amount of rotation. This is a tornado warning that's in effect for another 19 minutes. You can see Cove is in the path of this. Now, where is this? This is Polk, and this is McCurtain County. So McCurtain County for Shreveport, Polk County for Little Rock. You got two areas. Now, Polk County isn't officially under a warning. It's only McCurtain County. But as you can see, if it continues in a northeasterly trajectory, that is going to be making its way into Polk County. Mena is going to be south of the tornadic circulation. However, Wicks as well as Cove, those areas could, in fact, be impacted. So let me go ahead and zoom in on Mega Doppler so I can show you as we check this out. I'm going to take the camera off the screen because, the information is a heck of a lot more important than me. Let's do a one panel. And there's the reflectivity. We'll go with the most dangerous portion of the storm on storm relative velocity. So basically right here, storm track here, coming through Cove, and it's going to be in about 42, 43 minutes. So this is a 15-minute tick to 30, 45, and 60. So a little after 45 minutes from now, a little under an hour, this cell is going to be moving eastward, and it looks like they already dropped the tornado warning. So there you go, gone. So McCurtain County tornado warning expired. Let's take a look at all the reflectivity as we have thunderstorms in northwest Arkansas and in the River Valley. But guess what? They are not severe anymore, except for this cell that's by Cassville. So we'll zoom in on that. We'll look at the hail size. It's a little bit smaller. Let's look at the base velocity. So if we look at base velocity, we can see some pretty strong winds. Keep in mind, this is the Fort Smith radar. We'll probably need to switch to, let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just going to switch to Springfield so we can get a better look at that storm. Now, some little weather information for you. You might wonder, why do we switch radar so much? The closer you are to the radome or the radar site, you are able to see lower into the storm. Now, Springfield does something where they take it to a 0.1 or 0.2 degree tilt. So what does that mean? Well, instead of starting off at a 0.5 degree tilt, so when the beam goes away from the radome, it's higher up. If you have a 0.1 degree tilt, it's a lot lower. Now, we don't have that luxury in Northwest Arkansas because that's going to shoot right into the mountains. So you can't do that. But they can in Springfield because it's higher up. And by the time it gets over Northwest Arkansas, it's 3,000 feet. So it's above all the terrain. So that is why when we go to this velocity image and look at it, and there's base velocity and there's storm relative velocity. So looks like this was mainly for hail here. Yep, quarter size hail, not even really strong winds. But it looks like that hail core is weakened, so I would not be surprised if this severe thunderstorm warning is dropped, even though it goes in for 16 more minutes. So let's go back to the radar, and I'll show you what I was looking at. Nothing really special. Here you go. There's no velocity, essentially, with it. So if we look at base velocity, not very strong winds. Storm relative velocity, not very strong winds. And looking at no normalized rotation, and there's the reflectivity. So got a little cell that's coming towards Siloam Springs, and these all have been electrified. So you know what? The models really didn't do too bad of a job. Now, I've got some stuff that I want to check out, including I've got some time lapses of these storms that I want to see personally. And this is going to take a little while to set up. But in the meantime, before I do all that, I bet you that warning gets dropped. It's just barely hanging on. You can see that weather condition score is at a 70, but that warning is going to be gone really soon. Let me do this. Let's kind of go through some of the comments here. All right. Someone says pouring here. That was at 10 o'clock. It was pouring in Prairie Grove. No audio, and that's because I wasn't on, and we just launched the stream in the middle of the newscast. Springdale's looking pretty wet. A lot of rain and thunderstorm activity, but nothing bad. The severe weather risk is winding down. All right. Let's see here. Taylor says, just heavy rain and hail will be the main threats for tonight. Joel, I appreciate you. You're answering a lot of these questions that I just can't get to. Bro, my TV went out, and that's because if you're on Hulu, for some reason, our tornado went out. Tornado-wise, we were in the clear. We absolutely are. But there were some storms that came close, and I'm going to show you what I mean. We're going to look at it and see if we can see any rotation. Same, but a few minutes ago, it sounded weird. All right. I don't know what was going on. Bro, if I ever see Dan wearing the hook echo tie with the tornado shoes with the sleeves rolled up, I'm leaving Arkansas. And not only that, you got to have the thunder wear socks. So check that out right there. Got the lightning socks. Yeah, I did. 2024, May 26th. Yep, I heard it went black on YouTube TV and Hulu. Back on, getting knocked out. Oh, okay. Gotcha. So, yeah, we had a little echo because we had two audio sources selected. You know, one of the things is like video is pretty easy, but audio is difficult when you're doing streams to get it all matched up and stuff. Does link, okay, Robert, I saw this question and I went pretty quick because I only got like 4 minutes and I've got to cover basically everything. But does it include the enhanced risk? Now, here's the thing. With the level 2, Lincoln doesn't include the level 3, but it is included in the level 2. But it doesn't matter now because the potential for significant severe will be basically everywhere. Let me show you what I mean here. And this is a really good learning opportunity for you, Robert. And I think this will help out too with the severe weather risk. So I'm going to bring this up full because we don't currently have any warnings. We'll go back to producer mode here in just a second. But you'll notice that basically, yes, we do have a level 3. It does include western sections of Benton County, but keep in mind, this is going to be updated multiple times. So again, Robert, we're looking at it for Friday, but this is going to be updated tomorrow 2 times, multiple times on Friday. And if we do remove all of this information and just focus strictly on the location, you will notice that no, Lincoln is not included in the level 3. It's in the level 2. But this is where I think the Weather Service had a big success, is because before they would be tied to only allowing, okay, stand by here. They would be tied to only allowing that hatched area essentially to be in this orange shaded area, the enhanced. That's where they were tied to. So it looked like the storms were going to be significant, but then they would just die off. They didn't have the ability to extend it. Well, now, as we look at this, the probability, you'll notice that that probability extends well into central Arkansas, even though you've got the lower end probabilistic, 5%. So basically, what does that probabilistic mean? What does a 5% mean? You know, it's percentages are hard enough to understand. That tells you that is the percent chance of seeing a tornado within 25 miles of any point within that area. So the lower the probability, the less likely the storms, the less the coverage. So imagine having a bunch of popcorn on a piece of paper, and you move that paper eastward, to the east, and then you get less popcorn kernels. So you start eating them. So now you got popcorn, which is still significant, but you have a lot less of them. So think of those as supercells. Then as you go even more to the east, such as towards Little Rock, you've got this risk. Yes, you still have popcorn, but now you ate almost all of them, and so you only have a few popcorn kernels left. Think of those as supercells. Now, most of the risk and most of the activity will be in that red shaded area, but it means that the storms could still be just as strong, just as significant, and just as intense as the area in red. There just might not be as many of them. So the coverage or the amount of storms will be less the farther east you go. I think this is a win, and I think that makes a lot of sense. So now you get to see if Lincoln falls under that. I missed what it said. Is Gentry going to be in the level 2, level 3? Well, now you know that you don't even have to worry about if it's in a level 2 or level 3, but as of now, Gentry is, in fact, in the level 3. So we zoom on in, and there's Gentry right on the eastern edge. But you have to remember that this basically is going to be updated. So don't even pay attention to what it is now. I mean, yes, you can look at the trends, but we'll have to see that. So Brendan says, I'm definitely not excited about Friday. Well, from a meteorological standpoint, we're watching it really closely. Okay, backyard is starting the pond and the spring dew. Wish I would have put the pool plug in. I know. I've actually have to see if my pool is too filled, but I don't think it is. That's always a real tough thing, too, to figure that out. Okay, now this is the future track radar, but here's what I think is going to happen. I think we see some storms. We're going to go off of this mode, and we're going to go back into, there we go. We're back. And by the way, that severe thunderstorm warning is dying out really fast. But we're back. Apologize for that. So think of right here, this thunderstorm as it's moving eastward complex. This is what I think happens. I think we see some isolated supercells around Friday evening. The energy is subtle, which is concerning because there's going to be a lot of ingredients in place for severe weather, and we'll talk about that. And then as you'll see here, there's the line coming through Saturday morning, and then by Saturday late morning, we have additional storms. So I think we get a line of supercells or we get isolated supercells, and then we get a QLCS because the energy that's coming in will be intense. Maybe not a whole lot of upper level support, but enough where this will have to be watched. And then that storm system starts to move out. So anyways, that's kind of what we're looking at for that storm system. Let's continue to go through some comments here. If I wasn't in a trailer with a towel, I'll be good. Just praying hard. Yeah, everything's good. No, there's no tornado risk tonight. Everything's over. Everything's kind of winding down. There is a flooding potential, though. Yep, still doing the 10 o'clock news. And Joel is answering questions. And Joel gets a "You're the best" from Trace Connor. I know, exactly. We also have another guy, too, by the name of Denton, and he's a lot of the stuff behind the scenes. And so he's extremely helpful, too, as well. Yeah, Joel is the GOAT. I do love how he answers questions that are, fairly common sense sometimes. Okay. You see me, good deal. You can sleep, lose internet, mini fridge. We're almost getting caught up here. Yeah, hailstorm earlier. Speaking of hail, I've actually got some photos and pictures of this. So check this out. I'm gonna bring this up here real soon. Next, go to present. So these are some of the pictures that we got. And this is just all that I loaded for now. So in the Bentonville area, Centerton, Lindsay said grape size hail. Now, I don't know about you, but this is making me hungry. This looks a lot like grapes, white grapes. Very tasty. I bet you that hail was good. Pop that in a cocktail and have a good night. So we're going to go here and move along and look at the next pictures. So here's another one, Jordan Vaughn. Look at all that hail falling. Another picture of the hail, picking it up. We got basically a mixture of everything. Another picture. And then look at this video from Kent McFarland. Hail coming down. And one more picture from Lindsay. So there you go. And we continue to get more. And by the way, if you want to send your photos, you can scan that QR code up at the top, or if that's not big enough for you, here's the QR code. And you can see also too on the right-hand side, the QR code to scan. QR codes left and right, up and down, out the wazang for you. It's a lot of graphics on the screen. Let's get to the radar. We haven't looked at the radar in a little while, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to check out the radar. How heating, cooling, mega Doppler, and we got a little thunderstorm that's off to the west. But everything else is just garden variety thunderstorm. This is the kind of lightning that you're just sitting back, hearing the rumbles of thunder, seeing the flashes of lightning, and just enjoying life. That's exactly what it is here. I'm going to take Lincoln. I'm going to point it northwest, and let's see if we can get a good view of this cell. See if we can get some lightning from this. I'll be watching. So here's the Lincoln camera. Going back to the prod. Yeah, there's Lincoln. Now, here's what I want to do. I think this is kind of fun. And if you hang with me, and by the way, don't jump off this stream because we will be giving another weather call next gen away. We'll do that here very shortly. But I want to do a little time lapse from Lincoln because there were some storms that were rotating, not very strongly, but enough where it caught my attention, especially one that went through parts of Benton County. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to look at Rogers Pinnacle Parkway Towers. I'm going to load this up. And by the way, what are we at? 10:57. I got to do weather rate. And you're going to get to see that in real time because I don't have any other time to do it. Here we go. Oh, yeah. Definitely something going. Let's see. I know you can't see it because I don't have it loaded up, but I'm about to. And this is our live stream that we were recording earlier. And here you go. Bring this up so you guys can see it. So this is from Rogers Pinnacle Parkway Towers. I'm going to speed it up 64 times. Let's watch this baby. You and me. Look at the low-level jet. Man, those clouds are zipping. And then look at the change in direction. Pretty rapid change in direction. And then you can see a little bit of that circulation. It's not super strong, but boy, when you time lapse it, you can definitely see it. Time lapsing is my absolute favorite because it really gives you an idea of the currents and how the storm is moving. And that's about the only time you can do it is when you speed it up. So let's go back and look at it again. So that cell is coming in, and in real time, those clouds were moving. That's called the low-level jet. Now, watching this area right here, that starts going to the right. Then you can kind of see a little bit of rotation right in here. We'll go back again. See, kind of right over the interstate, you'll see a little bit of weak, broad rotation. You kind of see the clouds curling around. Nothing super major, and then it kind of clears out. Now let's look at the Lincoln camera, because I recorded this too. And this was pretty wild because this line was coming through. So it just completely stops. A lot of lightning with this. Yeah, real super glitchy too. And then look at the wind direction change. Then you can see those clouds off in the distance. And yeah, so there's the low-level clouds streaming in. Moving pretty good. That's called the low-level jet. Look at all how it's look at how the atmosphere is a perfect fluid. So that's some pretty cool stuff. I like looking at those time lapses. All right. Stand by. If I'd love a guesstimate in rain totals. Yeah. We can do that, Rachel. Let's knock that out. Let's take a look at those rain totals. And it's pretty substantial from those cells. So here's what we got. As we look at the rain totals over Benton County, and we're looking at like 2.5 to 3 inches, and a lot of that fell in a very short amount of time. So let's check out some of the totals here. So north of Pea Ridge, pretty impressive cell, about 3 inches. Let's go over Benton County, about 2.5 inches. They have 3.4 for some areas southwest Benton County. So some pretty impressive totals. We zoom in a little more. You can see it was around 1.5 to 2 inches, up to 3 estimated rainfall. Then you had this cell that was coming through, and it's always interesting to see how you can see the tracks of the cells. Okay. So let's see here. I'm going to join and find. Yeah, you can get some sleep. You're good. Level 3 does include Gravit, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. How about the Rogers up to 1.79 so far? So that's the actual measurement. All right, let's see here. Friday is a high risk day. High risks are extremely rare, but if it does happen, I don't know. 15% day 7 doesn't happen very often. That's true. Doesn't happen very often. Hail rid for Friday. We'll talk about that. What's a QLCS? A quasi-linear convective system. Oh, we can dive deep into the weeds on that, Taylor. But it's just basically a broken line of thunderstorms. Potential for a quick spin ups and with the QLCS on Friday. Yeah, I think so. It's very noisy here in Berryville. Fort Smith had some hail, absolutely. And there's Joel answering the question right there. Prime sleeping weather. Let's see here. Yeesh. Davion, yeah, yeesh. Oh, nice. Cool. All right. So you like next gen. That's awesome, man. Do you think the risk area pushes east for Friday? We'll take a look at that. But with that being said, I think it might be time to do a little giveaway, shall we? So type in weather call in the comments for your chance to win a free subscription. We'll do this for the next 10 minutes, then we'll dive into the latest data, and then we're going to shut this Facebook Live down around 11:30. I'm not going any longer than that. I'm beat. I got to get some sleep. I've got to get some energy built up because Friday is going to be a long evening and a long night, I think. So, and we're going to do, again, hashtag weather call. You can do all lowercase, but it's got to be all the same. Start collecting comments. There we go. All right. So hashtag weather call. We got a free subscription. Weather call is a subscription service. It's not really an app. So apps are okay. Apps are great. There's a lot of apps that are out there, but you want something that even when you're not on your app, it's going to call you. It'll know your location built into the system, and then it'll call you. Now, if you want it when you're mobile, that's a little bit of a different story, but there are ways to do that. But this is mainly for a specific location, such as your home. And it works really well. So let's do this. I'm going to bring up Weather Call Next Gen. We're going to share the screen. You're going to get to see essentially a quick video describing it. For those that didn't get to see it last time, because I know we might have some new people on here. This is an exclusive service, by the way, only offered by really us, KNWA, in this market. KNWA, Fox 24, KXNW. So let's go ahead and I am going to share the screen. Here we go. Share screen, and away we go. Are you tired of being surprised by dangerous weather? Other weather apps and services just don't cut it. They miss the mark on life-saving. Are you tired of being surprised by dangerous weather? Other weather apps and services just don't cut it. They miss the mark on life-saving alerts. Introducing Weather Call Next Gen. We are a service, not an app, and we monitor your reported location 24/7, 365. Credited with saving numerous lives since 2008. When the National Weather Service issues weather warnings, it's very simple. You are either in or out of the warning area. This is the only service that delivers warnings for National Weather Service severe weather threats and exclusive alerts for the most dangerous weather, like confirmed tornadoes, tornado emergencies, flash flood emergencies, extreme severe thunderstorm warnings, particularly dangerous watches. And for the most extreme threats, I will call you on the phone. This is the Weather Call difference. This is KNWA and Fox 24 Chief Meteorologist Dan Scoff. The National Weather Service has issued a confirmed tornado warning for your immediate location. We offer lightning threat and all clear notifications free of charge. No more app confusion or inaccurate warnings from distant weather sources. All this for just $15 a year. Weather Call Next Gen. Serious weather, serious warnings. Sign up now. All right, so there you go. You get to see it. So let me take this down here. Weather call in the comments. That'll get you. Nice. Nice little graphic there. So we'll do this drawing here in just a bit. Keep typing in weather call, but now it's time to take a look at this forecast for Friday. So first of all, a whole lot of energy moving in. And we're going to look at some models. We're going to geek out. We're going to look at some soundings. I'll tell you, I haven't looked at the 0Z soundings because everything's been going nuts around here. But the 12Z and the 18Z soundings look pretty impressive, to say the least. Someone said it's so loud in Gentry. I know there's additional thunderstorms, and we'll continue to monitor and kind of bounce back and forth between the radar. But here's a look at how heating, cooling, mega Doppler, lots of thunderstorm activity. There's Gentry. There's the lightning. Storms near Siloam Springs, but these are not severe. If we look at the hail reports, just a little bit of small pea-size hail with this, maybe a little larger, maybe up to dime size, as you can see southwest of Siloam Springs. But as of now, not severe, but that is moving northeast towards Siloam Springs. And so we've got our cameras on that, and we can check out in the Siloam Springs area what it looks like. So much going on today. Now, I know there's some naysayers, man. There were a lot of mean comments on social media. People saying, yeah, right, we'll see. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Well, this is one day, and I think the lower end of the severe weather threat did provide severe weather reports. Not only that, but some heavy rain already. So, all right, let's dive into this, and we'll take a look at, first of all, in order to understand Friday's system, we have to look at the vorticity that's coming in, the spin. So we're looking at the big picture, then we'll dive into the details, which really can't be determined this far out. But here's the system that's coming in, and one thing you'll see is it's a very large, what we call long wave trough. Additionally, there's a lot of little disturbances that are coming in from the southwest. So what does that do? Those little disturbances, they're little subtle energy, but with all the ingredients that are in place, including instability, we could have some pretty incredible storms. So then as we go throughout the rest of the time frame, you can see that break apart. Then you got this Baja blast that almost like revs up like a toy and then starts moving eastward with a whole lot of energy. Now, sometimes these bowling ball lows can provide big time storms all across the area. However, the storms that move through northwest Arkansas and the River Valley could be pretty intense. So, but remember, there's that large day 7. So let's look at some of the models, and there's really not a whole lot we can look at high resolution. Now, the HRRR may get out very close to Friday night. Let's see what it has. It's probably not going to have a lot, honestly, because it's subtle energy, and subtle energy really doesn't be handled well by the computer models. So let's take a look here at the future track. This is the HRRR. You've got showers and storms that are popping up across the area. Then they kind of die out. I don't think there's a whole lot of rain on Thursday afternoon, evening. And then as we get into Friday, there's the Friday morning time frame. I totally 100% believe that, because this is what happens. Big time systems usually bring a round of thunderstorms in the morning, unexpected too. Models don't have it. It's not in the forecast, and then it ends up getting added. So I totally expect that. And then look at this. You got storms that are popping up, but this could be a later time in the evening, as I think a positively tilted trough will bring maybe some energy, but we'll see. So there's the HRRR. Let's look at the ICAST here. So we'll look at kind of more of a zoomed in view. And this is with the graph model. So quiet tomorrow afternoon, evening. I believe that. There's the round of storms in the morning. It kind of has that. And then there's some storms moving in. And again, they don't look intense, but because it's a long time out, 48 hours, it does have thunderstorm activity. And then the line actually comes through. So you can't really look at essentially just the composite reflectivity, which I think a lot of meteorologists do, is they just look at the composite reflectivity and they say, oh, there's no storm, so there's not going to be a threat. You can't really do that. So here's what we're going to look. We're going to look at So we're going to look at the rotation tracks, all right? So these are called, not the shear tracks, updraft helicity. There we go. Maximum updraft helicity. Let's see what the HRRR is breaking out for updraft helicity. Again, like I said, I would have had all this stuff loaded, but okay, so there's tonight. Shows a little bit of rotation, which is what kind of came true. There's Friday morning, not really anything, and then there's Friday night, doesn't really show anything. That's because the energy's not here yet. So you can look at the HRRR and, you know, it's not going to show much. So let's check out the NAM. And, you know, the NAM is not the best. It's not the greatest model, but at least it goes out far enough. So let's see what we got. So here's Friday morning. It doesn't have any of those storms. And then Saturday, it barely has anything too. But I'm not surprised at that. It never typically does. So let's look at the NAM 3 kilometer. So this is the storm activity now. That starts to move out. Here's a look at Friday. And so now it looks like this system is a lot farther east. But I don't buy that either. The system's going to slow down. The NAM's too fast. And but there are chances for this to not come to fruition, okay? Which means that things could change. But now let's take a look at, and I'm going to load up BuffKit here, and we're going to look at some soundings across the area. So let's load up the new BuffKit data. In the meantime, here's what I've got to do, folks. I've got to put in weather call numbers because we're getting close to the end of the day. And for those of you that think maybe weather rate, not weather call, but weather rate is a gimmick, I'm going to show you something here that you'll actually be quite astounded about. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to share this tab. And I want to make sure that you see that. Stand by. Make sure that's loaded. Add to the stage. All right. So this is weather rate. And in weather rate, this is how we verify the forecast. So you know how it says verified most accurate? It's no joke. We've got to put in a lot of information. And for those that say we're wrong all the time, well, this is literally how scrutinized our forecast is. So first of all, we have to put, is there going to be precipitation Thursday from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m.? So a lot of this rain will be out of here, but it might linger around just enough for 7 a.m. However, I want to look at that again, and I want to see what it shows in order to check out and see if there's a potential for rain. So here we go. Let's look. And I think there's enough energy and enough southwesterly flow that I am going to go for rain, and I'm going to go 7 a.m. to noon. So you literally have to put the time in there, okay? So it's no joke. Then you got to forecast the low, not for tonight, but for the following night. So we're going to put 59 in here. And for Friday morning, guess what? I think there will be a round of storms in the early morning hours. I don't think they're going to be severe, but I am going to put rain on that. Then we're going to go next day to day 2. So now I got to enter in the forecast for Friday. We're going for a high of 78 because it should be pretty sunny ahead of that subtle energy. We're going for a low of 49 Friday night into Saturday morning. I will go for rain. Now the question is, do I do severe? We know windy will probably verify, and windy is actually 6 hours or more of a 20 miles per hour gust for the hourly ob. So, I mean, we've been doing this for the last 3 years, every single night. It's a lot of pressure. It's a lot of strenuous activity. And so do I go severe on Friday? The problem is I think there might be severe, but it could be after 10. But judging on the strength of the system, and as of now, day 2, I don't get docked as much. If it's not, I will go for severe thunderstorm. How do they verify this? It literally has to be a wind damage or hail report. Oh, and I went for severe last night or today, I think. But then I think I took it out.
because I was concerned that there wouldn't be severe, and there was in Benton County. There was quite a few hail reports. Okay, so Saturday, I think I did go severe. Saturday, we go 64-40 because it's going to be cooler behind the system. Saturday morning, I think there is going to be rain, but before 7 a.m., how about after 7 a.m.? I think that energy kicks out a little quicker. So a very tricky forecast, but I think it'll linger just after 7 a.m. So I will go for rain because sometimes the stratiform rain is a little underestimated. Then we're going to go 72 and 54, and this one's easy. Sunny day on Sunday. That's going to be a nice day. All right, so let's look at the summary here. I've got 70 with rain on Thursday. Sorry, I can't see any comments right now because I've got to do this or I get docked. 78-49, 64-40, and 72-54. We got windy for Friday, severe as well. We got timing for rain tomorrow, 7 a.m. to noon. I don't think there's going to be much beyond that because the system shifts off to the southeast. But there could be a little additional rain as I'm seeing on the new HRRR. I might go back to day one and do noon to 6 too. And let's go there. There two, view forecast summary. 59, 78, 49, 64, 40, 72, 54. All right. So there we go. I've submitted those values. I've submitted those numbers. And yeah, it's no joke. It is absolutely no joke, man. It's tough. Yeah, people are misunderstanding a lot. But guess what? We dominated the competition the last 2 years. We won most accurate. Hey, Siloam is getting a nice little storm right now. Let's look at that real quick as people are probably hearing some rumbles of thunder. In the meantime, we'll bring up a Siloam Springs WeatherBug Network camera. Yeah, look at that nice little downpour, and you're going to see lightning. There you go, on cue. Back to Mega Doppler. Here's a look at the storm. A little bit of small hail on the west side of Siloam Springs, right off of Highway 412. A little bit of weak rotation, nothing super major. Again, we're kind of in the ground clutter area, so we've got to switch radars again. We're in a real unique area where we have 3 radars going back and forth that basically get the same height over Northwest Arkansas, and you got to make sure that you're selecting the proper one. So a little bit of small hail. All right, let's go here, load up Buff Kit. Buff Kit is, let's just say, pretty antiquated. Even though it's antiquated, though, it does a pretty good job in terms of like sliding back and forth. Remember, type in weather call in the comments. We got a free weather call subscription that we'll be providing here really soon. But I want to dive into some of the photographs and some of the SKU-Ts as well. Like I said, I'm going to stop this at 11:30. So let's take a look at Buff Kit. So here's Buff Kit. I'm going to take the camera off the screen because I'm on another computer over here. So we're going to slide over here and we're going to look. So first of all, let's take a look at the NAM Nest. And this is going to be, as you can see, for Wednesday. So this is the newest 0Z today, 6 p.m., midnight, May 5th. So this is the NAM Nest. And if we go to our map, you'll see that I'm loading up down here in Polk County, south of Scott County. Let's start off with Fayetteville. So this is what's happening right now. We got a pretty decent instability that's actually not too shabby. That's why those storms are cranking up. And honestly, it's a lot better of an environment than what it was originally seen. But we're going to skip right to Friday. So here is Thursday. Friday morning, we get some elevated storms. That makes sense. This is where you get elevated activity. Then we move along, and you're going to notice a big old capping inversion, huge capping inversion. That's your, and then that starts to erode. And it doesn't look as good as it did at the previous one. So this has changed. The model's going back and forth. Look at that cap. Wow, that's a strong cap. So this is totally different. And that's not favorable for severe weather. So we do have some big time changes in what the models were showing at 12Z and 18Z compared to now. That is some elevated instability, and that will get thunderstorms, but those bases are going to be around 10,800 feet above the ground. So that's just the NAM nest, though. We saw that it really didn't break out a whole lot of storms. Let's see what the GFS does. So we're going to flip to the GFS model, and we're going to look and see if there's a better thermodynamic profile. So right there is a pretty decent profile. We got a lot of instability, not a whole lot of 0 to 3 kilometer cape. That is 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Let's see if it gets better as we go during the day. Not really. Honestly, not really. But, this is why we don't look at exact details. So if we go to the photograph, it's a pretty impressive photograph. You got a straight line shear vector essentially all the way up to about a half a kilometer. Critical angle is pretty close to 90. Cape is there. If we look at the indices, you got a lot of instability. You got low sin. You got helicity that doesn't show up. It's 216. We know that. 0 to 3, let's do 0 to 1. 129 for 0 to 1. And we can move along and see what we got. So, yeah, helicity is pretty low. LCLs are good, though. LCLs are really low. Let's look and see. Let's go to the map here, and let's look at Fayetteville. Yeah. Trying just really doesn't really create a nice profile. A lot of heavy rain though, but that's not a great profile, and it's not a great photograph either. So that's a little bit better at about 4 or 5 o'clock. But here's my biggest concern with so there you go. My biggest concern with Friday is that the energy will be subtle. So if storms don't develop in that time window when it's expected to be bad, then maybe we don't see those supercells. But I still think we're getting storms because we'll get the line as the front comes in, and that's going to be Friday night and Saturday morning. All right, guys, time to give a weather call away. You ready? Here we go. Let's see how many people we have entered. 71 entries, a little bit less than yesterday. Maybe people sound, yep, I know, I'm falling asleep too, man. I am beat and wiped out. Whew. All right, share this tab instead. Here we go. Where did you go? Time to give weather call away. And the winner is, Richard Evans is in there again. But you already signed up, Richard. Daniela Rod is the winner. You guys can go. Well, wait just a sec. Well, I'm going to watch that storm in Siloam. It's got a little bit of hail. Hold on just a sec. Yep. Daniela Rod, you are the winner of Weather Call Next Gen. Congratulations. Awesome. So now what do? I will message you, or you can message me on Facebook, and I'll get you taken care of. We'll get you signed up. So congratulations. What this will do is it's approximately, $12 a year for peace of mind. It actually went up a little bit because of inflation. It hasn't gone up, right? Every single thing. But it's $15 a year. So a little more than $1 a year. So $15 a year. It does include all clear calls. And not only that, you can get lightning as well. And I think we got lightning on this. So you'll be able to have those notifications. The way you sign up, I'll give you a link. It'll have a code. It says you need a credit card, but you don't because you have that free subscription for 1 year. But we don't have many more. We have one more Weather Call Next Gen subscription, but we may not get to it before Friday. So now is the time to start signing up if you don't have that, because what it'll do is it'll give you that peace of mind knowing, hey, I got a call. I'm in a warning, and it'll let you know exactly where that storm is. So exactly. $15 to save your life. I'll take it. Yeah. Gas prices due to Iran situation. Yeah. Yeah. Hail happened in Salem. So one last look at the radar as we shut it down in 2 minutes. I'm going to be on time. How about that? Man, am I wiped out. I'm so tired. That was a busy night. Yeah, a little bit of thunderstorm activity for Siloam. Bentonville, going to be in your area. Little rumbles of thunder, a lot of lightning. So we'll have a good view of this storm, by the way, when we bring it up. So let me go to our Siloam Springs Weather Bug Network camera. Whew, that's a good downpour. Hopefully that camera didn't go out. Looks like it might have. See if I can refresh it. No, think you went out. Think you gone. There's the Bentonville Square in Fulbright. All right, guys. Well, that does it. These storms are not going to be severe anymore. There's one more lightning flash. So we're shutting it down 11:30. Hope you guys learned a lot. We can't dive into all the details on Friday just because the models are not good. And we could look at stuff till we're blue in the face, and it's like it might pump fake. It might look worse. It might be better. And I don't think people realize that the models are not as good as what they give them credit for. Take care, guys. God bless. Have a great rest of your week. And, of course, we will keep you updated many times about the risk for Friday. Later.